Good evening. My name is Ben Luther, and I am an architect. And tonight I have the privilege to speak with you briefly about sacred architecture. Sacred architecture is the environment in which we come to pray and to worship God. Tonight, the architecture of St. Mary's Catholic Church provides the context for our concert. Sacred architecture, much like sacred art and music, should tell us a story. But architecture, more than most forms of art, cannot be understood unless it is experienced in person, unless it is walked into. A camera cannot capture the beauty of a real stained glass window, and a video cannot capture the feeling of being under a 30-foot, much less a 115-foot ceiling. Sacred architecture often uses a verticality to draw us out of ourselves and then to invite us into a moment of transcendence. The height of the ceiling or of the bell tower, as well as the point of the arch, all lead our minds towards the things that are spiritual, the things that are highest. These kind of architectural elements illustrate the Christian belief that God is so often beyond what we can experience or conceptualize. This kind of architecture invites us into an awe or a silence that says more than speech. Another element of architecture is the seating position and the placement of the altar, which also orient us forward and upward. There's a beautiful metaphor of the church building as a ship that is taking us on a journey. If one views Notre Dame in Paris from the east, and you see the flying buttresses, they almost look like oars coming out and extending from a great ship. This concept of the naval ship is also what gives the name to the center portion of the church, which is referred to as the nave. So as one travels on this journey forward and upward, we see images or carvings on either side of us, reminding us where we are going and whose path we are following. And much like sacred art and music, our lives can become a work of the divine artist or author. A moment ago I mentioned sacred carvings. Sacred architecture takes its form and even its materials from its essence. So you might ask, why is it that Saks Fifth Avenue in New York City is different than if you walk just right across the street and you enter into St. Patrick's Cathedral? And I would say, what you receive at St. Patrick's Cathedral does not have a shelf life. It is not just a fad. And so the very building is carved from stone. Another element of architecture that is actually important to all buildings is the orientation of the building relative to the sun. With sacred architecture, this relationship takes on even greater importance, as it reminds us of the cosmos. Just as the Big Bang Theory points us towards a beginning, towards a genesis, the cosmos also reminds us of a natural progression, almost an evolution towards something. It should stop and make us ask, is there more to life than this? And just as the sun illuminates a stained glass window, the Catholic Church teaches that the grace and the truth of God's message illuminates our lives. I want to thank Eileen, and I also want to thank Peter Von Bulow for inviting me here tonight. Thank you.